Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Jaina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Rishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paditanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, translation and commentary is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. April 4th, 1919. And today's verse is 10:16. Correct? I want to thank you all for coming. Vaktum ahasi asayashena divya hyatma vibhutayaha yabhir vibhutibir lokan imam swam vyapya tistasi. Please repeat. Vaktum, to say. Ahasi, you deserve. Aseshena, in detail. Divyaha, divine. He, certainly. Atma, your own. Vibhutaya, opulences. Yabhihi, by which. Vibhutibihi, opulences. Lokan, all the planets. Imam, these. Tvam, you. Vyapya, pervading. Tishtasi, remain. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Please repeat. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Purport. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have, and through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him there is no doubt, yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general and the impersonalists in particular concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Mukam karochi vachalam thongam laite girim yad kripatamaham vande Sri Gurun dinatarinam vyaktamahasi asashena divya hyatma vibhutayah yabe vibhuti bhelokan imam svam vyapya tistasi. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So, in detail. And as Prabhupada explains there in the purport, this is particularly a reference to the previous verse. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Where is that verse that Krishna says? Yes. By which you pervade, yes. Oh, it's all actually I missed that. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So Krishna in the Chatusloki, verse 10.8, has said, Aham sarvasya pravavo matak sarvam pravartate. From me everything emanates. I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Those that know this engage in my devotional service and worship me. So there's 4 Chatusloki in the Bhagavatam, and that means primary verses that contain the essence. And there's 4 in the Gita, that starts at 10.8. So if you remember, 2 weeks ago we had 10.3. So 10.3 said, if you remember, Krishna said, Savapapye vimukshise. You'll become liberated from all sin by remembering these 3 things of Krishna. Does anyone remember? I am, Krishna says, Aja, unborn. I am Anadim. I am beginningless. And I am Savaloka Maheshwaram. I am the Lord of all the worlds. And that will free you from the material pap, your pap and punya. But that's not enough. Because, yes, sambhutim cha vinasam cha. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead and his transcendental name, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. You see, this is Ishupanishad, number 14. One should know the Sambhutim, the eternal personality of Godhead, and his Nam Guna Rupa Lila. And one should also know Vinasham, the temporary material creation. So, when we have understanding of the material world, somebody give me 2 words that Krishna says in the Gita that sums up the material situation. Dukalayam asashvatam. It's a miserable place. Any enjoyment is bought with suffering, and it is temporary. So that knowledge of the material world will liberate you. You lose your taste for the material world when you realize that it's unsatisfactory. But that is not enough, because that's one side of the page, one side of the creation, if you like, the material world. But then there's the other side, and that's the spiritual creation. So that means you should know Krishna and his spiritual opulences. And of course, we want to know Krishna from this position initially as conditioned souls. We want to know how Krishna is present in this material world, so that will draw our attention ultimately to the name, form, qualities and pastimes in the spiritual world. And that is the subject matter of the 10th canto in the Bhagavatam, the Ras Leela. And so the Ras Leela is of course an actual Leela, but is very figurative. In the center is Radha and Krishna, Krishna and his Swarup Shakti. And then Krishna has expanded himself to dance with each gopi. So in the material world, Krishna is expanded as Paramatma, and he's supervising the karmic effects of the living entity. But in the spiritual world, he's expanded himself to dance with every living entity, not just the gopis in the Ras Leela, but you can expand that understanding. He's reciprocating with the cowherd boys, he's reciprocating those in the parental rasa, those in the dasya bhav. He's reciprocating with everyone. So he's reciprocating in the material world with Paramatma, but in the spiritual world he's reciprocating directly as Krishna. Therefore, this is in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that those that are properly initiated by potent spiritual master and have sincerity, they don't have Paramatma in the heart. They have Radha Shyam Sundar. And therefore, the Brahma Samhita, the head of our Sampradaya, he is explaining Govindam Adipurisham. So, that Leela of Krishna in the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha Loka, there is Haridam, and then there is Goloka, and then there is Maheshdam, and then there's Durgadam. This is in the Brahma Samhita. But from the point of view of us, Krishna, Prabhupada explains in the Gita, he's being asked on behalf of the common people. So we are situated in the material world. So the proper understanding of Krishna's Leela, we have to first see Krishna in the material world. And so the opulences of Krishna, they pervade the material world. So we discuss the 6 basic opulences of Krishna. He's Bhagavan, right? Possessor of Bhagya. So what are those 6? Beauty, embodied in Krishna's face. Left hand, feminine, renunciation. Right hand, Shakti, Virya. Then the opulences of wealth, potency, the torso. And then Krishna stands on 2 things. Knowledge, yes. But the feminine aspect? Fame. Yes. So Krishna stands on those. He's the most famous, and he has knowledge of everything. So Krishna's beauty, for example, we can see it pervading the material world, do we not? Wherever there's beauty, we look at the sunset, or we look at the moon in the sky and the stars, maybe in the country where the air is cleaner, and we see the sparkling stars and the moon, and we think such beauty, and we become elevated, right? We become elevated in heart when we see beauty. And so that is Krishna. As whatever Prabhupada says there, do you remember? Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. So we all have ability. We just found out we have a good Madanga player. Some are very beautiful, some are very intelligent, some are very strong, some are renounced people, right? So when we see those things in a person, then we should understand that this is the potency of Krishna. Aham sarvasya pravavo matak sarvam pravartite. So those without spiritual knowledge, they will see it separately. Oh, this person has money, he has wealth. But he won't see that this is bestowed. This is Lakshmi Devi, this is the potency of Krishna. He won't see that way. Oh, this girl is very beautiful. Oh, this is ultimately the beauty of Krishna is manifesting there. This person very strong. We can see, this is like Bala. This is Baladev, Baladev means strength. But Prabhupada once said, who's more powerful? He asked, who's more powerful, Baladev or Krishna?
Krishna.
Yes. And therefore, if you look at the deity, Baladev is resting on Krishna. Krishna's there, but Baladev is resting on Krishna. So all the opulences, they rest on Krishna. Whatever else a man may have. So this is a way to learn of Krishna in the material world. That whatever it is, we should see it in relationship to Krishna. And then we become Krishna conscious even in the material world, because Krishna is all pervading. So Krishna, his potency is pervading everything. How is he ruling the material world? Let's see that opulence. There was discussion in the Bhagavatam class this morning. Kala Shakti. The Kala Shakti. Like sometimes there's talk now, we want to rule the world, right? So in the material world, everyone wants to be the ruler, the predominator, or at least the materially conditioned. For example, here in India, in the Vedic day, the different kings, or Duryodhana, right? He wanted to be the predominator. But Krishna said, no, I want Yudhishthira to be the predominator, the ruler. Because what's the difference? Duryodhana, he's using the material world for his own self-aggrandizement. I'm the king, as Prabhupada often says, puffed up. I'm the big boss. But Yudhishthira, as ruler, wanted to serve Krishna and the people. Prajapati, that is a name for a king. Father of the king, the rulers, they should look at the praja, the people of the kingdom, as their own children. And they should look after them. And the best thing is, they look after them materially, but also they arrange so that the people become elevated in spiritual knowledge. And therefore we have in the 5th canto, right, Guru Niyashad, Raja Niyashad, Rishabdev says to his sons, before he renounces the kingdom, he says, nobody should become a guru or a father or a ruler or a demigod if they do not have spiritual knowledge, if they don't have spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, those high positions, they will use for their own self-aggrandizement. And we see that in the world, do we not? That tendency, particularly now in Kali Yuga, is very strong. People say, oh, the new world order. But actually it's just the old world order. One set of fools and rascals is trying to predominate over another. Before there was Ashok, but the Kshatriyas became weak through Buddhism, non-violence. Then the Muslims used to raid into India, but then they thought, these people are weak, let's just take the place over. It'll save us a trip. So they became the predominator. Then the British East India came along and they wanted to predominate. And they got kicked out. And then, well, to some extent, business people know how to run the banks and everything. But then Nehru came along and he was predominating for a while, we can say, from a material point of view. Now we have the BJP, they're in charge, and the Congress want to predominate. So in this material world, it's not a new world order, it's just the same thing. We've got one set of fools and rascals, Duskritina, Mudha, trying to predominate. But nobody's predominating. Ravana, right? Hiranyakashipu. Huh? They only have the illusion of predomination. And then time takes away all things, as it was mentioned. Kalosmi aham, right? I am all devouring time. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am all devouring death. This is what Krishna is going to show Arjuna, because he's asking, oh, show me how you, show me in fact. Now it's theoretical, right? Krishna is going to give a list of opulences. But then Arjuna is going to be shown the universal form, how Krishna is predominating in the material world. He's going to see, kalosmi aham, time I am. So people in illusion, they try to be the predominator. But nobody's the predominator except the Supreme Lord. Sometimes they have religions, man-made religions. Oh, we want to conquer the world for our tribal deity. But if your tribal deity is God, he doesn't need you to conquer it. He's already in control of everything, every atom and molecule. So this is the ignorance of man-made philosophy, man-made endeavor. They're trying to control the opulence of the material world, like Ravana. He's trying to capture Sita. Sita represents she is, Swarup Shakti. They don't want God, but they want the energy of God that pervades this world. They want the money. They want the control. They want to be the enjoyer. This is the ignorance of the materially conditioned. So when we see in that Ishopanishad verse, this is how we can see the material world. And Prabhupada said, yes, the material nature is running according to its principles, but we shouldn't get involved in this level. Just like, for example, people go on photo safaris in Africa, right? They sit on a truck and they drive around the bush and they look at the lions chasing the buffalo or the zebras or the buffaloes ganging up on the lions. But they just take a photo, they just observe. They don't jump down and say, hey, you big hairy lion, leave that poor buffalo calf alone. Look at the mother. They just take a photo. Of course, in the old days, we used to go there and shoot the poor lion or the buffalo, and then cut off the head and put it on the wall at home. But now people go for photo expeditions. That's a little better. But that's all you're seeing. That's all the material world. The lions are trying to predominate over the buffaloes. The buffaloes are fighting back, right? That's all that's going on in the material world. Everyone wants, just like we have football or cricket. So one cricket team tries to predominate over another cricket team, right? Even it happens in material marriages. The man tries to predominate over the wife, and the wife tries to predominate over the husband, and then the children, one child tries to, sibling rivalry it's called. Sibling means children, brothers and sisters. So they want to be the favorite of mummy and daddy. So the whole world, and just like, what is the favorite games? Why are there wars? They say, oh, through the New World Order there'll be no war, there'll be no private property, there'll be no family, there'll be no religion, we'll all live in harmony. No. Because in the material world, everyone has come here to be the predominator, to get all these opulences, beauty, strength, renunciation. Of course, that's not there so much in Kali Yuga. Wealth, financial wealth, to become famous, to become a knowledgeable professor. These opulence, they want those things, but they want them separate from the Supreme Lord. They want Sita, but they don't want Ram. But they don't get anything, because Ravana, he couldn't touch Sita, right? He was so. Also, in the Bhagavatam, the Asuras, they try to predominate over the Devatas. But why do the Devatas always come out victorious? Yes. And that's one reason actually given, it's very interesting, for the Mayavadi philosophy being spread in Kali Yuga. One reason is because Bhakti Vinod relates this in the form of a story. He says, after being defeated by the Devatas, the Asuras were looking, and they were thinking, why is it that the Devatas always defeat us? They always seem to have more potency than us. Maybe it's because of their worshipping Vishnu, and we're worshipping Shiva, like Ravana is. But he's worshipping Shiva to get potency. Ravana, you may be interested to know, he wrote a commentary on the Vedas. Did you know that? Yeah. But he didn't talk about moksha. He talked about dharma, artha, calm, not moksha. So this is the demons. They don't want liberation of the material world. They want to control the material world. So the Asuras were looking. These devas are always worshipping Krishna and becoming victorious. So then one of the reasons Shankaracharya, there's 4 or 5 given in the Jaiva Dharma, is so that the Asuras, they don't want to worship a supreme personality of Godhead. It's very appealing that the ultimate absolute truth is just a kind of amorphous energy that they can control, because I'm a person. Person predominates over his energy. So if I worship the energy, then they'll be distracted away from Vishnu worship. Because Krishna, Vishnu, he promises, Ye tamam prapadyante, that yes, if you worship me, I'll give the result. And there's that verse in the Brahma Samhita, Yastvindra gopam atavendra mahosva karma bandhana rupam falambhajinam atanoti kintu Krishna, karmadi neharditi bhakti chabajam. That the Supreme Lord, I worship Govinda, and he burns up to the root all the karma phal, the roots of your karma. But he impartially ordains the results of activities and desire from everyone, from Indra to the Indragopa germ. Impartially, just gives them the result. So Krishna is in perfect control. So if you worship Krishna, even from a demoniac point of view, you'll get a result. But we understand from Acharyas and Shastra that those that worship Vishnu, that is that verse there, in the Bhagavatam, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. No, sorry. Panditji, it slips my mind. Muksha Kama Udharyade, Trivrena bhakti-yoga. What's the first line? Yeah. Sarva Kama Muksha Kama Muksha Udharyade, Trivrena bhakti-yogena yujate purisham prabha. So it's recommended in the Bhagavatam that whether you have all desire or, Sarvakan, or you want desire of liberation, you should worship the Supreme Lord, because then you become purified. It's a kind of trick. You go to Krishna and Vishnu, you get potency, you get your result, but also you gain faith in Krishna, and you gain a little taste by approaching the Supreme Lord. And that is the real meaning of bhajan. Bhajan, you cannot apply bhajan to any of the devatas actually. You'll get something from them. So the Mayavadi philosophy, those that don't accept the Supreme Person, it deflects them. It takes them away from the devotees, and it puts them in the ashram, where they're all going around, Om Namo Narayan, you're Narayan, I'm Narayan, we're all Narayan, we're all God. So if everyone is God, then that means there is no God. Just like if everyone in India thinks I'm the Prime Minister, it means that there is no Prime Minister, because everyone is the same Prime Minister. So the Mayavadi philosophy, it's ridiculous. Everyone is thinking, I'm God. Hey, wait a minute, you're God. Of course they have their twisted idea of God. I'm God because I've united myself with the Brahman energy. So that keeps the demoniac into a little box, away from those that are devoted, and it purifies the path of bhakti. So you don't get people, anyabhilashitam, coming just to get something from Krishna. So this is the man of knowledge. He knows this, and he sees the opulences throughout the creation. And he sees everything as coming from Krishna. Just like the end of Brahma Samhita, what's that verse? Aham hi visvasya characharasya bijam pradhanam prakritim pumamscha. So that's the very end of the Brahma Samhita. Krishna says, I am the bija, I'm the source. I am the pradhan. When Krishna is in his Yoga Nidra Leela, he is emanating the prabhan, which is the basic substance of matter. When he's Krishna in Golok, he's emanating the Chit Shakti. But when he's Mahavishnu in Yoga Nidra, he's emanating the pradhan, which is spiritual. But it is a secondary level of energy. You see, Krishna is fully awake, so he's emanating Chit Shakti, effulgence. But when he's Mahavishnu, he's emanating the pradhan. Now, when you're asleep, your consciousness is at a lower level, is it not? And what is the quality of that consciousness? You forget yourself. You think I'm king of the world, or a tiger is chasing me, whatever. You enter into a swapna, you into a lower level of consciousness. Whereas when you're awake self. So the pradhan has the element of tamas. In that context, it means forgetfulness. So the material nature is forgetfulness. It is imbued with the quality that if you chase after it without Krishna consciousness, without Shastra knowledge, without Shastra chakshus, without grace of Guru and Krishna, then you become forgetful of your real identity. And then you can enter into the material illusion and think you're the king of the world. And all these opulences I've attained, my money, my education, right? Isn't it 4? Janma, high birth, Shruti, education, Shribir, wealth, and Shri, beauty. These are the four material opulences in the beginning of the Bhagavatam. So you may think, I've achieved these, I deserve these. But they're bestowed by the Supreme Lord. You're forgetful of how they are related to the Supreme Lord. So there's a warning there in the beginning of Ishopanishad. Ishyavasya idam sarvam yat kinchat jagajam jagat tena tak tena bunjita magrida kashasvit danam. Everything in the material world is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord. Therefore one should only take what arrives naturally as his quota, and one should not desire other things, knowing well to whom those other things belong. We shouldn't desire the opulences of other people. We shouldn't envy them. What wealth, intelligence, strength, beauty, lifespan, we have achieved that by the grace of Krishna. So we have a right to it. In that sense, it's our karma phal. But we shouldn't be envious of other people who are more beautiful, more opulent, have higher position in society. Because all those opulences, they belong to the Supreme Lord. So this is Shastra Chakshus. This is a way of seeing the opulences of Krishna as the way they pervade the whole material world. So that is Krishna consciousness. To see everything in relationship to the Supreme Lord. And when we are materially engrossed, and we're coming out through sadhana bhakti, through the grace of Krishna, when we're coming out of this material world, we should see that. Krishna is the seed. That means, just like in the Bhagavatam, Janmadyasyata, right? Atato Brahma Jignas. And then the next verse is Janmadyasyata. So the Bhagavatam is the expansion of the Vedanta Sutra, second verse. So that is, Krishna is the source, right? Therefore he's the supreme. Therefore he's the controller. Therefore he's the enjoyer. Just in the same way, the mother and father, material example, they're the source of the children. So they can say, they're my children, they're my responsibility. In one sense, in a material sense, I'm the owner of the children. I'm enjoying bringing them up. That's a devotee attitude, of course. But they don't want to exploit the children. So the Supreme Lord is the controller and owner of everything because he's the source. So this is non-sectarian. The Veda means knowledge. This is not a religious art, it's the science of Godhead. So the understanding of the Supreme starts with this: I am Bija, I am the source. I am the source of the Pradhan that is differentiated into all the material elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, senses, and so on. And then Prakriti. You see, it's differentiated into Prakriti. And then Pumamscha. I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, because I've created it. I'm the creator, here's my creation. I'm Ram, this is my Sita. I'm the Supreme. But Ravanas, lusty people, they don't want Ram, they want to enjoy Sita. They want the beauty of Sita. They want the opulence of Sita. They want the opulence of the material world. But don't bring God to me. So then they're bound into the material energy. But the devotee, whatever he sees, whatever he receives, he sees it as the grace of Krishna. Right? So this is seeing Krishna in every moment of our life. Manmana bhavamad bhakto majaji mam namaskaru. We offer whatever opulence, intelligence, ability that we have got from Krishna, we offer it back to Krishna. In humility, mam namaskaru. Here Krishna, just like Bali Maharaj, he conquered Indra somehow or other, right? And then Vamana came, okay Bali, I've taken 2 steps. One, he went up the top. Then second, he went down. You promised me 3 steps. You see, a Brahmin should only want 3 steps of land. Why? Because 3 steps of land is just like is enough to lie your head down and sleep, right? So men are not so territorial, really. They become territorial because they have to protect the women, and the women need to build a nest and bring the children. But an average man, if he doesn't have a wife, he'll just lay down on the side of the road. He only needs 3 steps of land, and then he'll renounce it in the morning. So Bali Maharaj said, okay, you've taken back what's already yours. Sukracharya warned him, Vishnu will take everything from you. But it's already belonging to him, Bali was understanding. Okay, now put the 3rd step on my head. I surrender to you. I surrender the universe, and then I surrender myself. Why is that the most important thing? Because Krishna has given us free will. That's his grace, right? To accept or reject. To accept and do good or do bad. That is given. So what we're doing is, my Supreme Lord, I accept that I am Gopi Bhatta Kamalayo Dasa Dasana Das, and I surrender to you. I want to Mavai Vangsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. I am your Angsa. But now Prakriti Stani Kashati. I'm struggling in this material world. And that's what the material world is designed. You come here, you try to enjoy the opulences that pervade this material world. But then you also get fed up with it, because you never get satisfied, right? As Prabhupada gives an example. Somebody attains the opulence of wealth, but then they commit suicide, right? Right? Sometimes people become famous, and they take a lot of drugs, and then they just commit suicide. They get fed up of it all. Or they go insane. They burn their brain out. So the material world is designed. You can come here from the material point of view. You can come here and try to enjoy, but then you get fed up. Just like these people, they get fame and wealth, but then they, oh, I'm a great guitarist, everyone's worshipping me. But then after the concert, they go to their hotel room and they sit all alone, right? And if you become wealthy, then every second person, or maybe 90% of the person, is just calculating how to get the money off you. So you have no friends. So this material world is made like that. The more alcohol you drink on Holi and bhang, the bigger your headache. I was looking at the locals the day after Holi, they were staggering around. So the more you try to enjoy this material world, the more you suffer. It's made like that. The more you try to be the controller, the more Lakshmi Devi will, or Bhumi, right, will come and slap you back. I'm not here to be enjoyed by you. I'm your mother. You're here to serve me. You're the steward. Go. That's the material world, isn't it? Mother Bhumi, Mother Sita, and you're trying to be the controller, the husband. But you're the son. How can the son predominate over the mother? It's a perverted relationship. So that is Satanism, that is Luciferianism. They want to change everything reverse. But kick God out, man is God. And everything will be made perfect when we have no religion, no private property, no nothing, no regular, everyone is equal. No, what is this? Everyone is equal. Some people are fat and stupid, some people are skinny and smart. Some people can run 100 miles in a day. Some people can't stand up from the chair. Is the professor the same as the student? No, there's variety. So instead of dealing with the variety in terms of the Shastra, they want to deal with the variety by saying it doesn't exist, which is just another illusion. So in Krishna consciousness we said, yes, accept all the opulences you've got, like Arjuna is a great Kshatriya, but be Mahabaho, means mighty armed. And we have to have that determination that I'm going to fight with all my material desires. I'm going to ask Lord Nrsimha to come from the stone pillar in my heart and kill my Hiranyakashipu mood of enjoyer and kill all the other little demons. We can meditate like this every morning. When we sing the Nrsimhadev prayers. Oh, Nrsimhadev, my heart is a stone pillar. You burst out of it and kill my desire for Hiranya, gold and the opulences and the comfy bed and power and nadanam najanam nasundaram. You give me Bala, Bhajan Bal. Baladev, give me some Nityananda Shakti. Give me some power. Make me Mahabaho so I can kick away this and I can apply myself to Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. Right? That's how we have to be. That's the greatness of the Bhagavad-Gita. We have to have that strength of determination. That I'm not going to be Ravana. I'm not going to be Duryodhana. I'm going to be Yudhisthira Maharaj and Lakshman. I'm going to take shelter of them. And I won't be distracted. And if you fall off the horse, you get back on the horse. Right? I'm going to choose my path in life. And that is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And I'm going to see all the opulence in the world in relationship to Krishna. Whatever opulences I have, I'm going to offer them to Krishna. Mam namaskaru, like Bali Maharaj. And the ultimate opulence is that we have free will. We can choose. Krishna doesn't interfere. That's our ultimate opulence. And so I'm going to use that in the service of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And then Krishna will, this is my devotee. As a Chatusloki, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayantite. But you have to be Tesham. You have to be constantly devoted. You have to make that. But at the beginning we may be weak, so we stay with the sadhus. We Muksita Matkata Prana, and we try to be good with the sadhus. What's that verse in the Sadaham Hridayam Twaham? The sadhus have nothing but me in their heart. And the sadhus are my heart, Krishna says. They know no one but me, and I know no one but them. Right? It's a very beautiful verse, isn't it? So sadhu sanga sava shastra hoy. So we, through becoming free of bad association, we can cultivate seva bhav. And that means we see all the opulences that pervade this world, that are going to be discussed in detail. But at the end, Krishna says, Yad yad vibhutimat sattvam Srimad urjitam evava tat tat eva gatatvam myasamba sambhava. Oh Arjuna, this detailed knowledge, it's there. But what? Look, it's just a spark of my splendor. But Krishna's not being proud, he's his friend. You see? Just like if someone's your friend, you like to discuss. You like to reveal your heart to your friends. So what is that earlier, 9th chapter? Bhaktosime, Shikar Eti, Bhaktosime, because you're my friend and devotee, I'm revealing. But when Krishna reveals himself, it's the most amazing thing. Arjuna was just thinking, this is my friend. He's another Kshatriya like me, he's got a, he's pretty far out. But he's actually the Supreme Lord. Just like after the Govardhan Leela, the Brij Basis, they approached Krishna. And they said, oh, Krishna, we're a little confused. We thought you were just a really wonderful cowherd boy living amongst us and we all love you. But, you've just been lifting Govardhan Hill for 7 days on your... And I know the cowherd boys and the Gwaliors, they were helping you with their sticks. But, what's going on here? So then Krishna revealed the spiritual world. So Krishna gives shelter to his devotees and he gives them the vision of the spiritual world. So the Brijbasis, oh, so you're the Supreme Lord. And then Mother Yasoda came and said, Krishna, why are you breaking the pots and stealing the butter? You might be the Supreme Lord, but you'd better behave properly. And Lalita Shaki is going to Krishna and saying, I don't think you're treating my friend Srimati Radharani properly. Whether you're God or not isn't important. You treat Radharani properly. And stay away from Chandravali. So, that is the Leela of the spiritual world. So that's what it means, that verse. One should perfectly understand the material world. That will give us detachment. And then we should understand Krishna. And we start to understand Krishna directly when we see the sunset, when we see beauty, when we see opulence. This is Krishna. So we'll finish on that point. Thank you all very much for your attention. Any question? Art is at 7 o'clock, right? Go on.
You talked about pradhana, you say it's in Tamil.
Speak on the mic.
Is it on? Yeah, okay.
You explained about, you talked about pradhana and gave an example of a tree person living. So how can you elaborate a little bit on that? You said the pradhana is actually Tamil.
The basic substance of matter.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you how to understand that. You can look it up on the internet. They have these plates, like a square plate. And have you seen it? And they vibrate at a certain frequency. And it forms different shapes according to the frequency. So, in terms of the gross matter, the first thing is Shabda. Shabda means sound, but vibration, frequency. So from that, if you like, the pradhan is the sand on that vibrating plate. But according to the Shabda, the vibration, it will differentiate into different patterns. So the pradhan, through the potency of the Supreme Lord, will differentiate into different patterns, and it's progressive. From Shabda, Krishna transforms Shabda into ether. Now ether, vibration, because sound needs, so ether is the first progression, but it's the transformation. This is in the teachings of Lord Kapila, 3728, third canto, teachings of Lord Kapila. So that comes into the ether. But then the ether is the transmission of vibration, frequency and potency. But then it has, by the Supreme Lord, he creates the receptor of sound or vibration, which is the auditory sense. So then the auditory sense plus the ether, which is each a different vibration, like this plate. So just like you play harmonium, you combine two notes, you get a combination, right? So then that combination of the auditory sense, the ear, and the ether combine to create touch. So then touch needs a medium, so it creates the, wait a minute, sorry, yes, and that's the air. You can't touch the ether, but you can touch the air, you can feel it. You know, when you wave your hand, you can feel it. So touch into the transformation of air, but then it needs the tactile sense. In the skin is residing the tactile, the sense of touch. So then the sense of touch in combination with the touch air, though think of them as two musical notes, under the supervision of Krishna, they combine to create form. Form needs then the element associated with form. You can't see the air or you can't see the ether. When do you see form? Fire. So form by Krishna transforms into fire, and then form is seen, so the visual sense. So then fire and the visual sense, they transform into taste. Then taste needs a medium, and then that transforms into water. But then the sense of taste. So water is the first thing you taste. Pure water, I'm the taste of water. You can't taste fire per se. You can't. So you see, you're accumulating all these sensory experiences as you go to most gross. So then water needs the tongue, the sense of tongue, or the there's a technical word for the sense of taste. Anyway, so the sense of taste with combination of water then transforms into earth. So earth, sense of smell rather. That's, you see, you don't smell fire per se in it, or you don't smell water. You may sense that there's water in the air with your nose, but it doesn't have in its pure form, it doesn't, then it has smell. So then it transforms into earth, and then that is perceived by the nose. Do you see? So it's all progressing. It's all this is the gross elements. The subtle elements and all that is another thing. But these gross elements, they're all cascading out and combining. And so therefore, the sense of hearing, and the sense it touches our heart. But then when we're touched, we have visual ideas in our heart. And then when we have a visual idea, we taste it, like we taste the rasa. And then the taste is like the smell, or we get a taste, a sense of, from the lower elements.
So due to being the gross elements, it's considered in the tamas?
Huh?
Due to being the gross elements, it's been considered in the tamas? You said the pradhana is in tamas?
Yeah, the Brahma, it's like the Chit Shakti. This is how it's described, Brahma, in the Vedas. And all, but Jaiva Dharma, get a Jaiva Dharma, and this is all described in Bhakti-Vinod Thakur. And the tamas, just like I say, it is the Chit Shakti, but it is when Mahavishnu is laying on the bed of Anantasesh, Baladev, and Yoganidra Devi is massaging his feet, and he's in Yoga Nidra, which is a kind of resting state. It's a leela. Just like if you go to Sri Langam, right? Mahavishnu is there. So he's emanating, if you like, a different, I don't want to say lower form of the Chit Shakti. But he's forgetful, you see. Just like when we sleep, our consciousness is forgetful of our identity. So all that we're experiencing in the material world is a progression, if you like, from the Leela of Krishna. Do you see? And Krishna is a Supreme Person. So he's not just vibrating in the sky, that's impersonalism, but he is enjoying the Leela of Yoga Nidra and creating the material world. In the spiritual world, he's enjoying the Leela with Srimati Radharani and the cowherd boys. And so everything is his Leela. So what, even those principles, this is the, how are you pervading this material world? Ultimately everything, Sutri Mani Gana Iva, those principles of Krishna's Leela, they're manifesting in the spiritual world, in the material world, you see. But because that tama, because all these material gross elements are a progression from the pradhan, bijam pradhanam prakritim pumamscha, because they're a progression from the pradhan, all these material have the tendency, if the living entity is not Krishna conscious, to make him forgetful of his identity as Dasadas Anubha, you know, as Krishna Das, Jivara Svarupo Nichayara Krishna Das. It has that element. But if we see the opulences of the material world in relation to the source, to the seed of creation, then it doesn't become forgetful. It becomes realization. Because you see, just like so many devotees, they sit down in the, oh, Krishna's mercy. They're seeing that, they're becoming Krishna conscious. They look at the beauty of the sunset and they think, oh, my Lord is a wonderful painter. He's created all this. And he sees a very strong man. Think, oh, he's carrying a little Shakti of Krishna. This is a volcano erupt. This is you know, this is a little spark. Krishna says the whole material world is just a spark of his splendor. Krishna is unlimited, you see. So the material world is effortless. It's explained that Ananta Sesh, he carries all the universes on his hoods, but it is just like a grain of sand. You understand? All the arrangement of the planet, all this is just like a little, like a grain of sand on an elephant, right? In the African jungle, you drop a grain of sand on him. It's effortless for him. So the Supreme is unlimited. But we have hard time understanding that, because we're limited by time, strength, and our opulences and our intellect. But when we see everything to Krishna, then Krishna turns the living entity into more than himself. And this is in the Vedanta Sutra. In one purport, Baladeva explains that the Supreme Lord, when the living entity becomes liberated and his Swarup manifests, he becomes practically, by the grace of Krishna, equivalent to Krishna. Because then he can relate to Krishna. But Baladeva explains that Krishna does not give him the unrestricted potency of creation, because he's the creator. You can't have many people creating different universes. They can create planets or this and that. The great rishis, swallow the ocean and so on. So the living entities, when he's liberated, he becomes practically the same as the Supreme Lord, so that he can relate to the Supreme Lord. we now in the material world, we're so limited. We cannot imagine that. But the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they give us a vision. Just like the Brijbasis, when Krishna revealed the Golok Vrindavan. He was going to reveal the Virat Rupa to Arjuna, and he's going to be shocked. Okay.
The question was asking about the relationship with tamas. So, in the Pradhan,
Well, you were asking how the tamas operates.
So, in Pradhan, you have the three gunas.
You have the what?
The three gunas.
No. That is the action of the Kala Shakti. The Kala Shakti agitates, creates the Mahatattva in the womb of material nature, Durga Devi. That's where the three gunas come from. The three gunas are harmony, activity, and inertia. You see? So they have the potency by the you see, when Mahavishnu glances at Durga Devi, that glance is that is Shiva, one form of Shiva. So you have the lingam, you have the yoni and you have the lingam. So that glance of Mahavishnu, it contains the living entities, the karma and desires. They've been sleeping in Mahavishnu. You know, when he withdraws the creation and then expresses it. So it contains the Kala Shakti. So he glances at Durga Devi, he impregnates her, the glance of Mahavishnu. He doesn't actually touch. He touches through Shiva. He is the husband of Durga Devi, Maheshtar. So then, by the agitation of the Kala Shakti, the time potency, which doesn't exist in the spiritual world, this differentiates in the Mahatattva, in the womb of the material nature, the three modes. And then the Tamagun creates the gross elements, the Rajagun creates the senses, and then the Sattva-gun creates the mind, which is the container of the consciousness. And then it's explained figuratively in the Bhagavatam. So all these things were created, but then they were inactive. But then the Supreme Lord, 11th chapter, enters into it and he regulates the whole thing. It all rests upon him. Sutri mani gna iva. So the three modes are the potency of the result of the interaction of the Kala Shakti within the womb of material nature, Durga Devi, and then it differentiates. So, because the Pradhan is entirely spiritual. It's the direct effulgence, if you like, emanation of Mahavishnu. But by the action of Lord Shiva, the milk, if you like, becomes transformed into dahi, you see. So that the dahi, the time Shakti, the milk is one substance, if you like, but then dahi is water, and it has the clumps of curd and so on. So that is the action of Lord Shiva. What's that verse? Shiram yatada divikari visesha yogat sanjayate tatik. Yaksham bhutam apitata samapaiti karyat govindam adipurisham. So Adipurisham, he's the source Adi, he's the original person, he's the origin of everything. So everything can be traced back to Krishna. The living entity is manifesting from Mahavishnu in the causal ocean, but he's ultimately, everything goes back to Krishna. That's why he's the Supreme. Everything is resting, everything is creation. So therefore, everything can be seen in relationship to the Supreme Lord, whether it is the Prakriti, whether it's the Pradhan, whether it's the living entity, it's all threaded back to Krishna. So Shastra Chakshus means to see that way by grace of Shastra, but the Mahabhagavat sees it directly. And that is the 6th verse. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanupashyati savabhutesu chatmanam tatona vidyagupshate. The 3 things are given. One who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, all living entity as his parts and parcels, and everything, the Supreme Lord within everything, 3 things, never hates anyone or any being. Because you can't see it that way unless you are free of envy. But you become purified. So the Mahabhagavat, he sees everything in relation. All the energy, all the living entities, and he sees the Supreme Lord within everything. And that is reality. Maya Shakti means we are seeing everything as we interpret and guess. This is my friend, this is my enemy, this is good, this is bad. You see, that's the Maya Shakti. We interpret it on the basis of our own consciousness. But the devotee, Krishna conscious, sees everything in relation to Supreme Lord, all living entities as his parts and parcels, and the Supreme Lord is within everything. So you can be 100% Krishna conscious in the material world. It's easier in the spiritual world because that's the Chit Shakti. So the Chit Shakti naturally bestows ecstatic realization. But the Pradhan has this dual function. It can make you forget Krishna, but if you have spiritual knowledge, then it can remind you of Krishna. So we better finish at this point. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. See you again next Thursday, I hope. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev, Hare Krishna.